Hey everybody, welcome back. Now, just when we thought it was safe to go back into the water, Harry and Meghan have done a storyline, or rather a storyline has been released involving them and the royal family, predominantly the king, and the timing is just, yet again, that little bit all too convenient. So on Saturday, it was the ladies' Wimbledon finals, and we saw our beautiful Princess of Wales attending to watch the final games and, of course, to present the trophies. It was a gloriously beautiful day, and Catherine looked radiant in a creamy, I would say, pastel lemon yellow outfit by self-portrait. Again, it's that tailored nipped-in jacket over the top of a floaty skirt. Although I did see that Rem is a good boy, our fashion expert. She has actually posted that it was in fact a dress, but Catherine looked summery and as beautiful as ever. Catherine had waved to the crowds as she entered the building and went to meet a number of attendees and guests before the match had started, including Bob Flynn, who is Wimbledon's longest serving steward, and 12-year-old Sophie Neen and 8-year-old Lydia Lowe, who were there to perform the coin toss at the ladies' final and the ladies' wheelchair final. The youngest, being Lydia, was there representing the Dan Maskell Trust. She has recently overcome a very serious brain injury that she received last January, and she had to learn to walk and talk and even eat again. And now, through rehabilitation and lots of love and support, she's back playing on the tennis courts again. The brave little girl had a sweet exchange with Catherine captured on camera after the princess had asked her if she was feeling nervous before her big appearance on the court for the coin toss and if she had any advice that she could pass on to Catherine.
Don't be nervous. Take deep breaths. Take deep breaths. Okay. Thank you.
What an adorable little girl. And the advice obviously was needed for Catherine because she got an incredible standing ovation and a huge round of applause as she entered the royal box. Catherine always seems genuinely taken aback by the wonderful reception that she receives. And what makes this so wonderful to watch is knowing that this is completely organic. Now, of course, there has always been clapping when the royals appear, but not to the extent that Catherine receives. And I hope that it reminds her, if she ever has a low day, how much she is liked and respected, not just as Prince William's wife and mother to the future heir to the throne, but also as a person on her own merit. Catherine went through some serious trials by fire, horrible media persecution and harassment, cruel and vile comments made about her for years since she was a teenager, including attacks on her friends and family. And now look at her. No pity party was needed, no woe is me bullshit. She put her head down and showed the world what a lovely, wonderful and an incredibly brave woman that she is. And that she is very deserving of not just her Princess of Wales title, but also that of one day becoming the Queen Consort. Both she and Prince William already do our country very proud on a worldwide stage. So I did say on my live that Harry and Meghan have been noticeably quiet in recent days, especially with the big royal events that have been happening, including the French royal state visit. There wasn't a peep, there wasn't a car park pap stroll, and it makes me always feel that something is going on and they are no doubt plotting something. But little did I know that Charlotte Griffiths, who is the editor-at-large at the Daily Mail, the latest chosen outlet of a lot of Harry and Meghan's storylines, was working on an exclusive story that has sent shockwaves through the royal fan base. The Secret Harry Peace Summit. King Charles and the Duke of Sussex's senior aides meet to resolve the family feud. I honestly didn't realise that Harry also still had senior aides working for him, obviously because he became Just Call Me Harry. But again, that was something that was momentary, and as we know, they have reshuffled their staff countless times because a lot of them have quit or been sacked because they haven't been happy with the bad press that Harry and Meghan have been getting. They wanted to redesign themselves as having a royal household, a household that Harry and Meghan despised so much when they were working under one last time. So there was a secret summit in London and Harry was represented by Meredith Maines, who is his Chief of Communications Officer, and they also had their UK-based head of PR, Liam Maguire, with her. Whereas the King was represented by Tobin Andrea, his communications secretary. The secret peace summit was held at a private members club. Well, how convenient was it that there was a member of the paparazzi waiting outside to capture the moment that the trio went outside to sit on the terrace. Perhaps Meredith had decided that it was too hot to sit indoors with the aircon and convinced the gentlemen that it would be better to conduct their private secretive business on a balcony with waiting paparazzi who could then perhaps even film it and lip read their secret conversations. But isn't it funny that Meredith seems the only one not to be shocked that there is a paparazzi lurking taking their photographs? Now, it wasn't the fact that the paparazzi were just waiting there. Of course, there was a source who was also readily available who spoke to Charlotte for her exclusive, who spilled the details of the meeting in the Mail on Sunday exclusive. They were quoted as saying there's a long road ahead, but a channel of communications is now open for the first time in years. There was no formal agenda, just casual drinks. There were things that both sides wanted to talk about. As I said, a secret meeting held outside with a waiting photographer ready to capture the moment. They reportedly only sat outside for 10 minutes before they went back inside. And I just can't help but feel I can smell it. I smell a Sussex setup. Given this private bar is 3 minutes from Clarence House, one would presume that if they were in fact having a serious meeting, and of course a secretive one, why would they not use the private and heavily guarded business rooms at Clarence House? Perhaps, in all fairness to the palace, perhaps they don't actually trust any of Meghan and Harry's staff to conduct business with an element of privacy. I mean, would you trust Harry and Meghan's staff? I certainly wouldn't. And of course, let's not forget that Meredith Maines was the woman behind Harry's recent BBC interview, where he babbled on about his father's health like he had been told that the king was dying. He accused his family of further cover-ups and said there are people in the royal household who want him and his children killed in the same manner as his mother. And the king has done nothing to protect them. In fact, the king even stopped Harry's security assessment being carried out. Bearing in mind that was on May the 2nd, a mere 73 days ago. How convenient was it that Meredith wouldn't be recognised on the streets of California, let alone the streets of London? She was captured by the waiting paparazzi. And this was also captured on Wednesday. So Charlotte Griffiths had this huge exclusive, but managed to keep hold of it and released it when Catherine was receiving a standing ovation at Wimbledon and when His Royal Highness was raising millions for charity at the Royal Polo Cup. And who's to say that the meeting was about any sort of reconciliation with Harry and his family, and it wasn't something to do with telling Harry and Meghan off for using their titles for commercial gain. Meghan in recent months has really pushed the boundary. Well, in fact, she didn't push the boundary. She has crossed that line multiple times. Considering they were only sat outside for 10 minutes and there has been no lip readers that captured their conversation, how did Charlotte know that this was an apparent meeting to end the family feud and not, well, one of any number of possibilities, including telling the couple off? If this was in fact steps being taken towards Harry mending fences with the king, surely sending his business communications and your PR manager is a very cold way to go about it. And remember, Meredith has only worked for Harry for a few months, so sending her on such a personal quest, it just doesn't quite add up to me. It doesn't pass the smell test. But perhaps Harry has been becoming more frustrated because his professional separation from his wife is now becoming more of a personal separation. They are now actually consciously uncoupling, and Harry has realised how much he is out in the cold, away from his long-term friends and of course his family. But the cynic in me thinks that Harry is far too arrogant to want to reach out to his dad for any sort of emotional connection. I have this feeling in the pit of my stomach that if Harry is reaching out, it's perhaps more for financial issues. Let's be real. Harry and Meghan's billion-dollar American dream is over. The grift is definitely over. Netflix is hanging on by a thread. Every other deal has dried up. There's no new books, podcasts, big TV interviews, no red carpet events, Met Galas, Oscars invites. They couldn't even score an invite to the Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez wedding, despite some of their nearest and dearest managing to get the golden tickets. No celebrity endorsements of Meghan's products for her as ever line. No $1 million speeches. Zip. Everybody seems to have gone quiet. And the most recent carpet events that Meghan has attended hasn't been because people have been honouring her. It's because her friends have thrown her a bone and allowed her to come as pretty much their plus one. So the convenient timing of Harry, who 72 days ago was still attacking his family, makes me think it's not so much as him wanting to make up with his father, but make up with his father's wallet. Now, of course, there are many possibilities of what this meeting, this little secretive get-together that wasn't so secret, was about. And my final theory on this is perhaps Meghan and Harry have split. They have been doing everything to cover it up. We've seen there's been a lot of strain between the couple. Meghan's been overacting a lot to prove that they're more in love than ever before, but we never see them actually out interacting together. It's only been a show for the cameras, which sometimes we have seen a bit of a mask slip in recent months. Meghan, of course, would want to cover it up for financial gain. Harry would want to cover it up because his ego is not really going to allow him to be told, "We told you so, everybody told you so." Perhaps Harry is finally waking up to his wife's antics. I mean, come on, stranger things have happened. Perhaps Harry has finally had that one tiny brain cell fired up and he's realised everything he's given up, everything he's sacrificed for a woman that I think deep down doesn't actually love him. Perhaps it's dawned on him that he's now really alone and now he wants to come back, or at the very least have some family and friends supporting him in what will be one of the most malicious and vindictive celebrity divorces to ever grace the airwaves. It's going to be nuclear if these two do divorce. Now, as I said in previous videos, I am getting to the point where I believe that Meghan isn't quite the villain, whereas she twisted Harry's brain completely, the fact that she's turned him into this awful person. It's clear that Harry has had a lot of stuff simmering away, his jealousy, for a number of years. I believe that Meghan has used Harry, but I also believe that Harry has used Meghan as a weapon to wield against his family. But I do believe that he didn't expect it to go as far as it did under Meghan's guidance and influence. And then, of course, because she isolated him, it made him more malleable for her wants and needs, and it left him completely dependent on her. She's not going to be too happy at the thought of Harry getting any support from his family and his former friends. So, by setting up the paparazzi to take photographs of this meeting, it could be two birds and one stone. First of all, the palace are going to go, "We can't trust you even to not disclose this tiny little breadcrumb that we threw at you, so then they put the drawbridges up and they say, no thank you, not today. That's Harry's chances blown. And then also, it could reignite Harry's paranoia that his family are selling him out to the media. Now, of course, Harry and Meghan have expressed their frustration that this story was leaked, but in doing so, that confirms that this was, in fact, the first meeting about opening communications between Harry and his family. It's a clever way to confirm it, isn't it, whilst also holding their hands up and saying it wasn't us. But I doubt many people will believe them because it's a case of the boy that cried wolf. Harry and Meghan have continuously leaked, as I've said many times, since she got her toe through those palace gates. But in another possibility, what if Harry is behind the leak with Meghan? What if they are still very much a team plotting against the royals? Like I said, it was only 72 days ago that he was throwing accusations at his family and now revealing that the king is opening communications for a potential return only angers the public, who I'm certain would never accept these two back in any sort of public-facing role. But in a bonus, it makes the king look weak. You've only got to look at social media today. There are lots of angry people thinking the king is betraying Catherine and William. The king is weak. He's giving in to his son yet again. And when you actually look at what's been happening over the past couple of years, William, Catherine, Charles, the whole royal family, they have stood together. They have shut off Harry and Meghan. So I don't necessarily believe that the king is the one that has opened these communications. Maybe Harry is in on it, maybe Harry isn't. But one thing that I feel is certain is that the calls are coming from inside the house at Montecito. And you've got to think about who would benefit most for having this meeting revealed. It's certainly not the king or the royal family. So guys, that's it for me on this video. Tell me your thoughts. Which theories do you think? Have you got some of your own? Post them in the comments and I will be back with you very soon. Take care for now. Bye.